Alright, today we're back with Modern Horizons 3 cards, and we have a really fun one today. We're taking a look at Grixis Affinity, a deck that has a lot of cool upgrades from this new set. And let's go through some of them. I think probably one of the most important ones is our good friend Cranial Ram. This is basically a +X+1 for number of artifacts that we control on a creature, and it enters with a germ token as well, so it's its own best friend. And this deck is going to be all about ruining our opponent with this specific card. What we want to do is attack in with our germ token, and when that dies, we'll play any one of our other creatures that are pretty much expendable blockers that can be replayed with an Emery, and we're going to try to just bust through like that. We have things like Ornithopters, we have things like Refurbished Familiars, which have affinity for artifacts themselves. We have Imsker Iron Eater, who also has affinity for artifacts, and we finally have Furnace Hellkite, who has affinity for artifacts. And I guess it's worth mentioning our old friend Thought Monitor, tried and true in artifact synergies, lover of Emery, and all these together are going to be pretty nice. And I guess Mirror Enforcer as well, one of the original cards that was on our Timeless and Historic Artifacts decks. Pretty much everything's got affinity now, so everything is super cheap, assuming that we can get artifacts onto the battlefield, whether there are cheap early game ones that can be Ornithopter, Mishra's Bauble looped with Emery, all are things that you can do. We have a bunch of Darksteel Citadels. We can search out any one of our artifact bridge lands, that the Indestructible Artifact land set, and we have a lot of fetch lands to go ahead and do that. We are playing one of each basic because we do need to watch out for Harbinger of the Seas, one of the new cards from MH3, and our good friend, the Blood Moon. With that being said, this is more or less the deck here. A lot of cards have affinity for artifacts, and we now finally have a deck where the primary text on these cards is affinity for artifacts. Previously, it was just Mirror Enforcer, Thought Monitor doing the job, and they honestly did a pretty good piece of work at it. I think that with all these cards, affinity for artifacts is going to be extremely strong, and we should be able to go very far with this deck. I don't really have anything else to say for the intro, so let's hop into some games here. Make sure to like and comment on the video, helps with the algorithm, and subscribe if you're new for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now let's hop into some Timeless here and see what Modern Horizon 3 Grixis Affinity has for us. Alright, here we go. Next round. Cranial Ram in the opener. Early Emery is sweet. I'm really into this hand. Let's go. This is turn 2 Cranial Ram or turn 2 Emery. I think I like the idea of Ornithopter being here as well. Let's see if Cranial Ram goes away. I just go for an early Emery. Otherwise, I just get Cranial Ram on turn 2, unless they have another Thoughtseize. All these things don't seem too bad. We are just going to get a bunch of lands that come in untapped. Oh, they actually just give me, they take away the Ornithopter then. They might have another way to strip my hand here. Let's start working on that artifact synergy here. We're looking for an Emery here. This is actually even better. I think that I will do it like this because this gets me closer to a Thought Monitor coming down in case they deal with the Emery. We'll play this. Look to play Ornithopter next turn into Cranial Ram. Anything good off the top here? Not really. We have some artifact lands. That's fine. So they know you have Cranial Ram in hand. Carrion's Journal. This is for transforming. They want to cast things from the graveyard. I'm actually not really certain that I know what they're trying to do. Okay, so Thought Monitors will cost 4 this turn. I'm going to have only 3 mana here, so I think I'm going to recast Ornithopter. Gets me actually just enough to cast a Thought Monitor, so I think let's do that. Then we'll go Cranial Ram next turn off this Bloodstained Mire. And then this Ram will be huge. We might be able to actually just go Ram into Thought Monitor as well, which is good. They will yoink my Thought Monitor here, that's fine. No blocks here. And do they sack it? Totally fine, I can replay it with Emery. That does slightly mess up my ability to play the cards that I want this turn. I'm going to be 1 blue mana off. I think I still play the Cranial Ram. That is just going to be good with this Ornithopter sitting around, so we will go Bloodstained Mire, fetch a basic red. You will notice that some of my artifact lands do need to be switched out for Blood Crypts. Did forget about that, but I will make that change after this recording here. And I must be colorblind because I could have sworn that produced black. It's all good. We will go Thought Monitor for now, and actually what we'll do is we'll play the Thought Monitor from our graveyard. Alright, Thought Monitor from graveyard, here you go. Definitely not looking efficient. Got a little distracted with the miscoloring of my lands. We'll put this one back. And at least now we can loop Thought Monitors pretty effectively. I don't really know what opponent's doing. It may be a steal and sack kind of deck here. But let's see. Detection Tower. Looks like they are actually going to just be stealing my things. Karizev's Expertise. Will they be sacrificing this with a spell from hand? Looks like they'll just be yoinking it and using Tarian's Journal. Alright. Just getting some value in. We do need to drop that black mana source this turn. Sack a creature, draw 2 cards? Sure, that's fine. I can continually recast this Thought Monitor until they kill my Emery. It is all good. Alright, now we don't make the mistake. We drop this Mistvault Bridge. We'll go Emery on our guy in the graveyard. Thank you, Thought Monitor. Here you go. And even though we don't have the ability to cast 2 Thought Monitors, we do have the second blue now. This Mirror Enforcer will be good, and actually that will be straight up free because of Mishra's Bauble. Perfect. This is what we wanted to see happen. We will go ahead and not attack because that's a 0 damage attack, and now we set up for a good next turn. We might lose Mirror Enforcer here as they bang us over the head with it, but we're kind of at a point where our Affinity is going to start carrying us here. I figured that Emery was eventually going to be the choice there. That's fine. No more looping. That's unfortunate. Do they have another steal to be done? Probably. I think they take Mirror Enforcer. No, they don't actually. That's fine. And I assume they're going to Tarian's Journal or sack Emery in some way. Bone Shards. Yep. Okay, that hurts a little bit. We will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Thought Monitors will still cost 2. 2 and 3 works for casting both Thought Monitors. Braids. Okay, that's going to be annoying. Alright, so what do they sack, if anything? Probably not. They're going to look to steal and sack creatures, I think. Oh, they're actually going to sack a land, sure. I'll get rid of my non-artifact types. 5. Yep, the mana still just barely works out here. Oh yeah, right, these count as well. So Thought Monitors are very cheap. We do want to make sure that we get the Cranial Ram out, though, so that it does need to happen. We have our 8-1, and I can move that to a Ornithopter now and actually get my attack in early. Let's get in for 10 and put them to a 1-turn clock. Because they can start to sack annoying things, I do want to play out another Thought Monitor here just to protect my Cranial Ram and protect my attack in general. Mirror Enforcer is going to do good to keep us away from this Braids trigger, and I think I'm good to pass the turn. Opponent's dead in the air to my Ornithopter. Cranial Ram absolutely goes hard on that thing. Looks like we're doing pretty well here. Our Thought Monitor can block a stolen Ornithopter as well. And even if they sack the Ornithopter, I believe the Cranial Plating will still be on the battlefield under my control, so that won't really be a problem for me. Opponent seems like they can't find a way out from this, and they'll go ahead and concede here. So we'll take round 2 and move into round 3 with a pretty good win under our belts. Alright, here we go. Next one. Opening hand has a Refurbished Familiar and really not much else. I think this is probably on the lower end of what we've seen this series. I think I'm going to keep it because Watery Grave into Bloodstained Mire gives me a lot of card selection. Were I Bosch and Roll, the legacy content YouTuber, I would say Island Ponder keep. I think a Watery Grave, Brainstorm, Bloodstained Mire can be my equivalent of that for today. So we need to produce blue in order for Bloodstained Mire to do its thing next turn. I think I will shock the Watery Grave for now because I'd also like to Brainstorm on their end step. This seems good. Opponent's got Cleric class. That is going to be kind of scary. Soulstealer Axe is very different, actually, than what I was expecting. Let's go Brainstorm. We have Imsker here for the first time this game. We're going to put away the Mirror Enforcer because it's very expensive. And then we'll draw just any card. I guess we'll make it Imsker. Imsker can be on top. We'll shuffle away the Enforcer. Move to my turn. And I will Bloodstained Mire here, I think. We will find red. And then we would like probably more blue is always what I'm saying for this one. So we'll do this and drop a Cranial Ram. We have a 1/1. Let's go. We'll be able to go Silver Bluff Bridge into a Refurbished Familiar next turn and then start to work out with those. And all the while we're going to be getting closer to an Imsker who's going to be really, really nice. Horn of Gondor, so they're going to be making humans. That's fun. Let's go. Silver Bluff Bridge gives me... Okay, does this give me what I'm hoping for? Cranial Ram is what it is. I play this. Refurbished Familiars cost 2. If I... Okay, no, this doesn't work out. If I could fetch for an untapped artifact land, this would work. But unfortunately, those don't exist. We're going to have to play a little bit less optimal here, going for Refurbished Familiar. Or I can play both of these for a black mana next turn, which will require me fetching with Scalding Tarn. It's all a little awkward here. I think we'll just go Refurbished Familiar while they still have cards that need to be discarded. We are going to try to keep their Horn of Gondor low. I'm going to attack in with Cranial Ram. They lose a land. It makes sense that they'll let me get in there like that. So Horn of Gondor doubles here. Oh, Cranial Ram dies. That's unfortunate. At least they spent most of their turn to do that. That's not the end of the world for me. We have Scalding Tarn again. If I fetch black, this means I can do Cranial Ram and Refurbished Familiar, which seem fun to me. So let's fetch black and red, I think, this time. Blood Crypt, pay 2 life, and then we go Cranial Ram since this one doesn't get discounted. And I guess we're in, again, a situation where it didn't really matter because I'm going to be left with 1 mana left over anyway, and I needed that black. So we'll attack in for 2, put them to 15. They have a top deck coming in, and they don't think that they can survive. Was kind of looking forward to getting to cast Imsker next turn, but we'll have to wait for another game. I will re-record this one, I think. That was a little bit quick and a little bit unsatisfying. Surprisingly, that was a timeless game. Sometimes people do just queue their historic decks into timeless. I'm definitely one that does that here and there just to give things a test. But I think that we were definitely a little bit undermatched there. We'll get to give it another try here. Let's see what opponents got for us this time. Cranial Ram again, and then 2 7-mana artifacts. Again, I can go with this Brainstorm idea here off of Scalding Tarn. It will require a shock. I kind of consider this multiple dead cards, honestly. If these lands happen to be artifacts, maybe there's a reason to continue. But honestly, I think that this is not super great. I'm going to give it a mulligan. I do like an Emery. That is nice. I do not like that this puts us pretty far away from getting Emery, Refurbished Familiar, or Thought Monitor out, but I think this is better than the last hand we had. I'm going to do a turn 1 Brainstorm off this island. Opponent goes Once Upon a Time. This might be creature aggro. Let's see what happens. And it will probably be Primeval Titan if I had to guess. Refurbished Familiar, probably not going to be the most impactful card here, but just being generally big and attacking early is probably the name of the game for us today. Temple Garden comes out, there's probably the Kami. There's the Kami. Kami drops, what kind of land? Based off what I've seen so far, probably not Gates. We can at least be that sure. And I think that I go for turn 2 Emery, actually, instead. This Brainstorm can wait a bit. Opponent on the play with Primeval Titan is a scary place to be. Luckily, there's no natural order coming this turn, but as soon as I say that, this is something definitely very different. We're looking at Naya Legends, potentially. Who knows what that Boromir is going to be used for, but now actually we have the ability to do Emery plus our Brainstorm. That's even better. No. Right, Boromir is a thing that exists. Okay, so that will be no Mishra's Bauble. Boromir may be here actually to prey on the pitch elementals. Interestingly enough, we'll go Emery Lurker of the Lock here. That Mishra's Bauble can be played again eventually. We can mill 4. Let's see what we hit. Notably, we do need black mana here, but we have a Cranial Ram that can be played next turn. Refurbished Familiar getting pretty close as well. We are not blocking this guy. And actually, they give me my turn back. This Ornithopter gets countered as well, as we so just learned. I think that we will go find black. Excuse me. Skull turn here, black and red will be the answer. That will be our Rakdos. Pay 2 life. And let's go for Emery. Emery will take a Cranial Ram. Let's see if that makes it out of the graveyard. Yes, it does. Here's Cranial Ram. Living Weapon. Let's do the thing. We have a 2-1. Let's go. We're going to hold Brainstorm here. Say go. We can find a fetch land that's good. I think that there's not really a whole lot of things I want to hide. Possibly this Ornithopter, I guess. No blocks here. We're going to continue to take our Boromir beats, and we want to make sure that we can trade for him eventually. We do my turn. Mirror Enforcer here. We're getting close to our inflection point. Refurbished Familiar now is pretty cheap. Costs only 2. If I play one out of the graveyard, what does that mean for me? That means that this one could be cast as well if I find black mana off this Brainstorm. We do find black mana, but it is unfortunately tapped. I can Brainstorm again. I actually don't have a way to shuffle my library, which means that this is going to kind of suck. Alright, it's okay. We are going to do things that result in us having more artifacts on the battlefield. Let's do this. Play Refurbished Familiar. 4-1 mana, holding up another Brainstorm. Opponent's got a discard here. We have a 4-1 to block Boromir if he attacks. Natural Order is on the battlefield, or is on the in the hand. No attacks, we'll pass. Yeah, we need to kind of be the aggressive deck here. Grizzled Huntmaster, sure. That is a problematic card to see. Let's see what they exile and what they find. They have exiled a Galta Stampede Tyrant. So they will take all their Galtas out and get a bunch of them back. Or get a bunch of payoffs back. We don't know what it is, but it's probably a payoff. Probably something very annoying as well. Interesting that they're down to just get rid of the Galtas as a whole, though. This Brainstorm, I think we'll wait until we make our draw here. I'd like to see 2 new cards instead of just 1. Let's do this. Although I could just Thought Monitor now. So we go Refurbished Familiar for 1. That is essentially paying directly into the Thought Monitor cost, so we'll do that. And I think Thought Monitor for 2 is fine. They have to discard again. Thank you, Refurbished Familiar. We are now getting ready to attack. I go Thought Monitor, draw my 2. Now we're on to new cards. Alright, now we have a Blood Crypt, so we have a little bit more to work with here. I can go Brainstorm, I can recast something from the graveyard, but nothing really works for me right now. I'm fine to attack with all these creatures that are in the air at the very least. We will do that. That's at least some chip damage. I don't think I need to go in with the Cranial Ram just yet. What I will do is probably play this Blood Crypt tap. I don't think the Mirror Enforcer needs to come in yet. We'll end our turn here holding up a Brainstorm. If they somehow find a way to make us discard Ornithopter as a thing that exists once upon a time, not really going to be useful for them. It is a 2-turn clock as is. Actually, you know what? This is +6. That's 8, 10, 12. So that is lethal right now, actually. If they tap out here, we have lethal in the air. So that's good to know. They may make an attack here. They may sack Bormer to make things indestructible. Looks like we'll just get our Brainstorm off now. Let's find some good stuff. And a Darksteel Citadel will be the one. We put Ornithopters back as per usual. And Imskar Iron Eater is going to be pretty darn sweet. We'll move to our turn. And here's what we can do here. So we go Darksteel Citadel. We go Imskar, making sure to hold up some red mana. We get to draw a bunch of cards. Hopefully we will draw into one more red mana. We actually don't find it. That's fine. And what we'll do here is Imskar activate, targeting opponent, sacking our 7 mana Thought Monitor. Opponent takes a bunch of damage. And yeah, we'll just then attack over the top with the 2 Refurbished Familiars. We could have reassigned Cranial Ram, which would have been a bit more mana efficient. What I was actually intending to do was draw a land. And then I would have been able to Imskar Iron Eater, paying with the red and the black with Mistvault Bridge and Silverbluff Bridge. Then I'd be able to Blood Crypt plus some other lands to pay for the first activation, be able to recast with Emery our Thought Monitor, and then activate him again. But unfortunately, we didn't have the mana for it, so that line didn't work out. But we did get to cast Mr. Big Demon here, and worked out well. So that'll be round 4. We'll pop into round 5 for one last game. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the deck tech. I have definitely been enjoying it, so stick around for one final round. Alrighty, here's round 1. Hoping for a good start here. Emery early is not bad, and actually off this artifact land, it is pretty darn good. We're going to keep the 7. Hopefully not get Thoughtseize off the rip here. It'll just be a Llanowar Elves. That is, so far, so good. Mistvault Bridge needs to be the 1 here, and next turn we'll be able to do... Oh, we actually have 2 options here. We can go for Cranial Ram early if we'd like. Force them to block. I think I'm actually interested in doing that here. So we'll Bloodstained Mire for any red land, I suppose. And then this in turn will make our Emerys cheaper later. We'll get a mountain here, I'd say. And let's go for Cranial Ram. Living Weapon comes in. Here we go. Alright, we see 4 mana coming out potentially. Even more here. They're going to be pretty large on the board state coming up. Priest of Titania going absolutely wide here. We, on the other hand, have Darksteel Citadel, which helps us on our artifact count. I think we do need to go ahead and give this a go. This makes the Cranial Ram a little bit bigger, and then we go for an Emery. Emery is going to mill some cards here, and we do have stuff to hit next turn. I'm thinking that I go ahead and attack with this, and then we put the the ram onto Emery if we have to. We'll just... I don't think I'm blocking with Emery here because we do need to recast something next turn, so I hold on the Cranial ram. Opponent's kind of getting out under us here. They've gone wide. We don't have removal. That's pretty much exactly what the Priest of Titania decks want. And they can activate Elvish Warmaster now, and we're going to look pretty dead all of a sudden. Yeah, okay, sure. So they're trying to just draw a bunch of cards here. Leaf Crown Visionary. I mean, this is the dream. If you've seen my video with Priest of Titania, you'll know that this is exactly where opponent wants to be. Alright, Eladamri comes in, gets to look at the top card of their deck here. Yeah, I mean, being able to put stuff on the battlefield is pretty nice. Also, Wirewood Symbiote is here. So first of all, alright, here's Fierce Empath, and then they go for probably the kill here. They actually don't have enough things to attack just yet this turn. That is the one thing they may need to pass the turn here. But I think we are looking like Wirewood Symbiote just has us dead to rights here. They can make a lot of mana. More Priest of Titania. They are going absolutely off. Let's go. Combo Elves might be a thing finally enough. And it looks like these two attackers will be enough to finish us off. We are dead. So Combo Elves will take game 1. Let's hop in round 2 and see if we can't do a little better than this. Alright, 5th and final round. Let's go for one more. We have early discounting of this Thought Monitor, but not really much past that. Demonic Tutor on turn 2 finds Emery, which is actually kind of decent, so we'll allow us to sit on this. Just a Cleric class to start. We're going to go... Oh, we are going to go for turn 1 Emery, in fact. Great top deck here. And let's go for that Emery. Here we go. I think I will crack my Bauble here. We have another Ornithopter. We have Imsker. We also have Refurbished Familiar. All pretty decent finds. Voice of the Blessed is definitely annoying. We can't currently deal with that. Let's definitely take a draw here, unless I want to recast my Refurbished Familiar, which can block the Voice of the Blessed and then start to eat their hand. I think I will try to do that. If I were to activate now, how many artifacts do I have? I have 2, so this thing will cost 2 mana, and then with a Mistvault Bridge it costs just 1, or with the land I can just pay for the 2. We'll do the thing that discounts it, so I'll do this. Emery Lurk of the Lock, Refurbished Familiar, cast that thing for 1. Now we have a blocker in the air, or on the ground. Opponent has to go down to 3 cards here. We are looking to do this as much as possible for the foreseeable future. Thought Monitor, if they don't force me to kill my creature, is going to be a way to redraw 2. That's definitely better than Mishra's Bauble. Let's see what their actions force me into. Other planes, a Revitalize, that'll grow the Voice of the Blessed. It is what it is. Hopefully this incentivizes them to attack. They don't. Okay. So this means I can make a cheaper Thought Monitor. I will cast my cheaper Thought Monitor. Draw 2 cards here. Mirror Enforcer, almost free. What will be free though is this Ornithopter, so we'll do that. And then that resultantly makes our Mirror Enforcer for free. And now this Mishra's Bauble can be used. Alright. Could have attacked with Refurbished Familiar. We'll see if that ends up biting me. Demonic Tutor next turn can search for our Cranial ram. Voice of the Blessed getting bigger. Impassioned Order also getting bigger. Luckily we haven't seen the more annoying Soul Sister. Mishra's Bauble, here we go. And weirdly enough, opponent doesn't like what they see. I'll never really understand these early concessions. You might as well stick around and play a little bit, but you know, this is just the ranked ladder. We're pretty low on it, so this kind of behavior definitely makes sense. Yeah, but anyway, let's re-record this round 5. I don't think that's one that we really want to end on. I do like showing you guys just a pretty much unedited 5 series. I think that it gives a lot more in terms of the realness and the experience you might expect playing a deck like this. Again, we're pretty high on the mana curve here, even with 1 Mistvault Bridge and 1 Ornithopter. I think this is one that I would keep with a fetch land as instead of this Blood Crypt. But for now, I don't think I can do it. So opponent on Giganta, I would be surprised to see if this was Wizards. That's a historic deck due to some of the arena-only changes that are made. They do keep a hand of 7. I instead will mulligan, and this is a tough one. This is just a refurbished familiar and really not much anything else. We do get to play it on turn 2. I mean, let's try it. I'll go down to 2 lands here because we really don't need more than a few blue and black each. Silver Bluff Bridge, we might be in a mirror match. That's fun. Let's go for Mistvault Bridge. And pass. We'll spew out our hand next turn. Maybe save a little bit of info here. Tanglepool Bridge, Teamer. Alright. Things change here with this Emery. Except they don't really. I'm going to shock this. I'm going to play an Ornithopter. Emery costs 1, and then we'll go another Ornithopter, and then Familiar will be nothing, or it'll be for free. Great in terms of the cards that were milled. Bad in terms of I don't have red. Well, opponent's going to have to sack something here. And we will Mishra's Bubble on their end step looking for red. As soon as we get that, we have 2 Cranial Rams to work with. Otherwise, it'll just be Mishra's Bubble loops until then. Do they have a play? It doesn't seem like they do. Very slow to start. We'll get a Mishra's Bubble off. Moonsnare Prototype, okay. I don't know how quick my opponent will be to combo off, though. We'll see. 1 Mishra's Bauble. Emery. We'll go for a second Mishra's Bauble. Here we go. And we have nothing to play, so the top land is fine. We already know what card is coming from their top. We will attack for 2 and say go. Hold on end step. Opponent might just be on Artifact Affinity, just they appear to not have an Emery like I do. Hopefully that's going to end up being a complete game changer for either both of us. So there goes an Ornithopter. Still could spew out a lot of cards here. It's Simulacrum Synthesizer. Okay, fine. Let's look at the top. We see a Darksteel Citadel coming in. This Simulacrum Synthesizer might be a problem for me. It'll be a problem if it gets going. Hopefully we can stop them before it does. I'm looking for an untapped red source or a fetch land. Both would be solid for me. Let's just Mishra's Bubble myself here. I would be surprised if they're able to shuffle their deck from this position with 0 mana. Frogmere Enforcer. Okay, definitely don't see this guy very often. That's fun. We will move to our turn. Double draw with Bauble. They have a 9/9. We do have an Imskir though. Okay, does that change things for me? You have to shock for this. And then Imskir is probably worth playing later, so we're going to take this Cranial Ram and play that. Cranial Ram. We now are just not able to block this 9/9. It's fine. I can make my Refurbished Familiar bigger, but in reality, I think I just want a blocker that can trade effectively. I think I'm not blocking with my Familiar, so I'll go in for 2. At least even up this damage. We are probably going for another Cranial Ram and then going for Imskir. Thought Monitor is big, so is Simulacrum Synthesizer. So while we had Emery, they had the Synthesizer. This might be a hard one to overcome for us. Lava Spur Boots, giving their 12/12 haste. That's nuts. Alright. And, brutal. So we can kill this. We can block here. We can block here. I'm at least alive. So it doesn't really do much for my mana. I have a Thought Monitor of my own now. I think I want to cast my other Cranial Ram. And then we have enough to go Thought Monitor, equip a Cranial Ram to something. Alright, and we go Thought Monitor. Draw 2. Your Enforcer is great, that's going to be a good blocker, and then now we just go Cranial Ram onto Refurbished Familiar and look for a 2-turn kill. Oh right, that doesn't happen at all because of their whole flying deal over here. That's fine. We will at least trade for the Thought Monitor. It's not the end of the world. We do have the opportunity to take a card from them next turn. This is a deck that Meltdown would be kind of good in, potentially. Oh man, Kozilek's Unsealing. So they're going for a pretty interesting combo here, not gonna lie. Kozilek's Unsealing, honestly, like a very similar Simulacrum Synthesizer thing. I kind of like this. That is pretty fun. Look for one here, Lava Spur Boots, absolutely nuts. They're definitely making the most out of this. Despite a slow start, it's looking like we are the ones that are in trouble here. Well, we go like this. We kind of just can't take this damage. And until we can find a way to get through 2 flying blockers with our all these things without haste, it's looking like we might be dead. And actually they do have the Emery after all. Looks like opponents got the tech in this mirror match. We see multiple Simulacrum Synthesizers in the bin now. I mean, I'm not sure that anything that I have can really do anything about this. We have Demonic Tutor. What can we really find? Furnace Hellkite? Just a creature at this point, as are most of our other types of effects. Well, I suppose there's nothing to do other than to just draw a few more cards here. We'll grab a Thought Monitor here. Furnace Hellkite, we might as well play one of these this deck. Have not gotten it to come out just yet. We'll just get the basic red here. I think things are pretty much just about wrapping up. Furnace Hellkite, Affinity for artifacts. We'll go Emery here. Emery can get back our Mirror Enforcer. That is a blocker. And unfortunately, we are going to die with 2 8/8 Cranial Rams here. I guess I do technically survive another turn, but you know we're kind of just spinning the wheels here. I think we'll let our opponent Emery here a little bit, and we will just take the attack this turn and go to 0. So I think that this is definitely an interesting build of the deck. I do like the idea of Kozilek's Unsealing here. Draw 3 off of your Thought Monitors. It's definitely a little bit win more, I think, from this position, but it's definitely making the difference in this mirror match. Let me tell you that much. Pretty sweet deck from the opponent. The Lava Spur Boots are also pretty cool. Really loving it. That's fun. So they get to go for an absolutely monster attack here. Thought Monitor again here, drawing 3 cards. This Kozilek's Unsealing has done a lot of work for them. I think this is a really nice addition to the deck. And kind of just waiting for them to finish things up here. Making some more mana. What else can be played? They have 22 cards left in deck. Shadow Spear it is. I mean, if we had Urza Saga in this format, this would be a very good deck. I think it already is a very good deck, honestly. It just didn't really do anything for the first 3 turns of the game, which, you know, they may end up losing to mono red aggro, but they are really definitely playing a strong end game here. So we'll go to do about -70 here. Good play by the opponent. Really cool deck. And I might have to give their build a bit a try, but we'll see. That being said, that brings us to the end of our story here and our 5 games. Hope you guys enjoyed. The deck list, as always, will be in the video description. Make sure to like and comment for the YouTube algorithm stuff, and subscribe if you're new for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I hope you guys are enjoying Modern Horizons 3 as much as I am. We have a lot of pitch elemental stuff coming up in the near future, so be on the lookout for that. Combo elves is a thing in this format now, with the printings of Priest of Titania and Wirewood Symbiote. A lot of cool things in the pipeline coming out soon. So stick around. I'll see you in the next videos for more of that. Peace out. Okay, round 3. This is a very early Emery that I'm really happy about, and it's actually also a very early Refurbished Familiar, which is nice too. We need to set up, though, to have our blue mana, so we go like this, probably. We'll pass. Dreams of Steel and Oil here. We'll let that resolve here. See what they take. Hopefully Emery gets to stay, but I think Emery is the choice if I were my opponent. We will get a Refurbished Familiar out, though, and I would like them to exile that. Looks like they will be smart here and not decide to do that. For this reason, I think I'm okay just bobbling here. Another Refurbished Familiar here is not bad. We're going to go Darksteel Citadel into Ornithopter. If I Mistvault Bridge now, that might not be as good as this, so I'll play this, leaving up just 1 mana. It is fine. Let's see what they get rid of for this. Looks like we are playing discard most likely, so we will discard back at them. Refurbished Familiar does attack for points of 2 damage, so that is nice. Opponent's got a difficult discard here, it seems. They've got the Tiny Bones Avatar as well. There is a Shieldred in hand, good to know about. Dark Writ into hopefully not another Shieldred. Blothouse. Okay. That is a fine use of a Dark Ritual in my book. Concealing Curtains. They can take a card from my hand at any time with this. Let's go Mishra's Bauble. Refurbished Familiar. They have to discard again. Hopefully it's going to be a good card. And I think they likely just flip Concealing Curtains this turn. They know we have a Brainstorm in hand, so we can basically look at the top 3 and choose 1 to put away. And I will need to crack my Polluted Delta to do that, though, which is a little awkward. Okay, we don't need to attack here. We're fine to just chill. And we will wait to see if they do Concealing Curtains things. And if we cut down on my Refurbished Familiar, so be it. And we get to go to our turn. I'm going to draw with Mishra's Bauble. They are having another Concealing Curtains. Let's go ahead and do our Polluted Delta here and get our Brainstorm set up. This is really awkward that it happens to be this way, but at least we'll be able to work through our Brainstorm lock a bit. Okay, so what do we want here? I think we will take red mana. I think we'll take red blue. I think is actually better. Steam Vents it'll be. And let's just put this in tapped. I think we do need to draw through a Brainstorm lock at some point anyway. Actually, this Demonic Tutor now becomes a little bit better. So I think we go Brainstorm here, putting 2 back on top. What don't we want? Honestly, I think we want all of this, so I'm going to hold on this Demonic Tutor. We can go Refurbished Familiar next, leaving Thought Monitor and Mirror Enforcer on board. Like this, we want Thought Monitor on top. And then, oh, I didn't realize we had the Steam Vent still. I guess we're going to have to put that in tap to go Refurbished Familiar here. They don't have anything to discard here, but it is a card. And we actually do get that Thought Monitor back, so... kind of a little bit awkward in the sequencing. We know that this is a Concealing Curtains. They will choose a card here. Let's see if it's Thought Monitor or Tutor. Both are decent for me, to be quite honest. I have moves no matter what they decide to do. Demonic Tutor doesn't hurt me that much. This is a block that we can't really make. I'm going to go for Thought Monitor here as well, and we actually get to do that off the back of an Ornithopter. So now these are getting cheaper. Hopefully we can draw well here. Cranial Ram is the epitome of well. We get to go Cranial Ram into Mirror Enforcer, and now we have a 9-1. We get to attack, and now all of a sudden our 9-1 means that we have a 2-turn clock. Revealing Eye and another Concealing Curtains. Not a problem at all for me. They can do that. We don't have really anything to do, and they just have a blocker. I would definitely block with my Phyrexian Germ if that were a thing that was going to happen. We'll drop Mishra's Bauble here, and we can basically just move Cranial Ram onto the Thought Monitor or Furbish Familiar here. Probably Ornithopter is the correct move here, but that's fine. Let's just attack with the squad here. They will need to block, and we will crack Bauble on their turn. Alright, once we get ahead of everything, we are in a great spot here with this snowball that was built. They have one card to find removal for Cranial and all my creatures. Shieldred is very close, but it will not quite do the thing. Looks like we're going to take this round as well. Definitely had a hard start there, but you know, once we got the ball rolling, man, it does feel good to be playing this deck. Let's get into round 4 and go for another one.